In addition to welding, gluing and adhesive bonding is an established process, of course, in body shop fabrication. We're in front of two systems here. Marco, can you tell us what it's all about? Yes, warm welcome to all of you. As you can see, we can see two different dosing systems here. On the left-hand side is the classic single-component dosing system. On the right-hand side, our new development, the smartDOSING system. And I'd like to start by talking about the standard system. You have this stand, a pneumatically driven stand, which means that you have a cylinder for the drive of the pump, left and right-hand side, the two cylinders for the follow-up plate, lifting and decreasing it. Then you have a material hose with the dosing unit as such. It is a heated hose, which means that the material can be adjusted to a certain temperature. We've got cold as well as warm systems, hot systems that we use. And the dosing unit is a 60 cubic dosing unit, so you have a 60 cubic maximum volume, which we can use in one single cycle. You have different sizes, the smaller size 20 cubic all the way to 300 cubic dosing units for larger volumes. Okay, before the symposium, we've made a video of this system, how it's used for gluing, and we can show you now. Now, the video shows you in 3 steps how the Nimak Infinity logo is applied onto the plate. The seam width is varied. This is a closer up. And you can see the next process here, and you can see it in the close-up now, very nicely. The nozzle, you have a very broad seam first, the Nimak logo, then a broad seam, and then a small, a very thin seam, and so on. It changes. And you can see in the transitions from the thinner to the larger seam, the smaller the transition is, the faster the dosing system will control it and changes or adapts to changes in parameters. Okay, in addition to the classic system, we have a second system here, a new system. What are the main differences? Well, right. In the smartDOSING system, as you can see here, we've only got one application head here. So there is no classic dosing and dosing chamber that needs to be filled first, but the application head is directly on top or above a material hose going to the pump. And this is also a new barrel pump. It's completely electrically driven. This is the big difference with the standard pneumatic systems. So we can use an electric motor for the pump proper, as well as a motor in the background for the follow-up plate motion. We can control the pressure and also readjust the pressure. So in operation, so when we commission such a system, we can use the value for the HMI 150 bar, for example. The electric pump stand will then control this. The pressure will be put on the head here, and then with a smart dosing head, we can also adjust an opening angle. So we can change it during the actual process, and that is why we have the different seam widths. Well, we can see a clear size and difference in size as well. And you've explained that the classic system is made up of 3 components, and the new system has 2 components only. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. This is the application head, smartDOSING, and the pump stand. So the classic dosing unit no longer exists, which means at the beginning of a project in purchasing, you save the dosing unit. And you have to know that the dosing unit is quite expensive in a dosing system. You no longer need it. And that is why you no longer have costs for warehousing, spare parts, and also maintenance. Because as you can see, the dosing here and the other one, the structure, you have fewer interfaces, fewer components that may fail as well. So no pneumatic system on the right-hand side, exactly, no pneumatic system, no compressed air is needed for the barrel pump. So it's all electrically driven. Size difference, quite clear. What about the weight? Well, the weight. In the small application head, you can see a maximum 5 kilos. So this application head can also be attached to smaller robots. In the most recent, or second to last symposium, we saw that the smart dosing application head was attached to a 10-kilo robot, and we also applied seams. So we, that is our customers, do not only save costs in purchasing, but also in the robot. So it goes through the whole chain, really. And of course, size, it's leaner, more flexible within a body shop. So it's downsizing, fewer components, more lightweight. And what about the price? Now, the price, of course, also a very important factor. With smart dosing, we have about 30% lower prices below the price of a classic system because the more expensive dosing unit is no longer needed. And thus, we can offer a very good product for many, many applications and solutions. Okay, these are the two systems in a one-to-one comparison, and we can now show you live how the smart dosing system works. So we put the seam on the paper here. Okay, let me move back. So it's the same shape. Same Nimak logo with a frame around it with different width of seams. And you can see the two results here next to each other. This is the direct comparison exactly. So you can see very identical seam, then this is the seam change. It's narrower than a broader part again. And this all without a classical dosing unit, but it's directly from the pump with a certain adjustable pressure value in the application head.